said, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Die Podcast. I'm your host of the Trap or Die Podcast, Marley Maul, in here with the fellas, man. AJ in the building, Dre in the building. Appreciate everybody who's checking in live. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We back from a break, extended break. Appreciate everybody who's checking in live. Benz, what's up? I see you, player. Everybody that's on Twitter, Twitch as well. And then on the audio side, if you are listening, make sure you hit that follow button. If you are new and you checking in, man, you like, look, I like these guys on that Trap or Die side. I mean, I like what they got going on. Hit that follow button. Hit us with a rating and review. It takes 10 seconds to do so, and it's free to show your support that way. Monty, J Tizzy, he said I should do another intro, but you got balls, and I know you. First off, if that was me, boy, I wouldn't be doing this show, bro.
We have a new Mic
check
show.
1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Trap or Die. What you gonna do?
Hey, bro.
Let me tell you about the day I went to school and I was trapping.
Okay, so AJ ain't got bars, y'all. So we
I'm gonna get on this joint and rock like Biz Marquee.
No, that's that Will Smith rap.
Hey, you just missing the beatboxing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dre got you with that. That's all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, appreciate everybody checking in live, bro. AJ, Dre, how y'all boys doing, man? It's good to see y'all, man. It's good to see my dogs. It's good to see my dogs, man.
Bro, I got a foul going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right.
Nah, definitely good to see y'all be back. You know, just chop it up in general. Football, you know, get back into the mix. December playoff run month. You know, you're gonna make something shake. It feels great to be talking about playoffs. Like Jim Moore would say, versus you know, in the past couple years since we've been doing this, around this time we typically looking at draft prospects. What you gonna do with that? What last year, Dre, you was like, thank God Zerline missed that kick.
Oh, bro. Look, I was mad about that game like it was for the playoffs. Like, I was about to be pissed that we was going to beat the Jets in that game. So, no, I'm happy that this year we can be excited about winning games into the playoffs. Am I here?
Yeah, hey, look. Nah, yeah, you good. It froze for a second, but it may be my damn dog who messing around with my stuff, bro. I'm about to steal her. Hold on, Frank. Get your goddamn ball, bro. I'm not playing with you right here. No, I ain't about to play with her. She just think it's game time right now. Okay, but yeah, last year was different, bro. And you know, we was still. I don't think people like completely folded on the idea. Well, we know one person for sure who ain't folded on the idea. Rhymes with Bisco. Fold on the idea of Sam Howell. So it was plenty of people who was like draft talk, Sam Howell, just build the offensive lineup, Ben Johnson. Think about all these other things that wasn't about football, bro. So it's good, man.
I was gonna say too, Mo. I had dudes argue with me last year talking about, oh, why are you rooting for tanking? You should always root for wins. Man, I hate those conversations, man.
Yeah, they ain't talking about that shit right now. At all. But fellas, bro, we in a 4-game stretch, man. 4-game stretch for Washington where you know every game is important. The Rams have won this past weekend. Another team, Tampa Bay, has won. They're fighting for the division. Atlanta is now in the mix for a wild card because they just keep they free falling right now. You got people in the mix, bro. And Washington has that coveted 7th seed right now, right? They're closer to the 6th seed than they are to the 8th seed. But you know, 8th spot, 7th seed, you know what I'm saying? But they're closer to the 6th seed than they are out of the playoffs. And you know, I don't think we're in a position where we're sitting here saying like any game I mean, I think you can afford to lose a game, but I don't think Washington's really realistically in any position where they can sit here and take a proverbial take a week off. I don't think that's you can't I don't think that's going to work for Washington with the position that they're currently in.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in a perfect position to control their destiny. You win out, you get in. That could be 5th, 6th, or 7th seed. But either way, if you continue to win, there's really no debate. So it's just you got a nice little stretch of games, 2 divisional games with the Giants and not the Giants, but the Cowboys and Eagles still remaining out of that 4. You also get to face a Saints team that has already fired their head coach and an Atlanta Falcons team with a Kirk Cousins that in the last 4 games has thrown 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Like you said, spiraling. I don't even know if spiraling is the word. I think it's a collapse over there. But, still opportunity. And you also add the addition of Marshawn Lattimore into this defense that's been dominating over the past couple weeks against their opponents. So that should change for the better. It's now the news of missing being without a Noah Brown, for example, and some of these games during the stretch still being without Austin Eckler, who's recovering from concussions. Those are the main things that you're concerned about. But I mean, the defense has been balling out, and now you add an all-pro cornerback in a Marshawn Lattimore. Defense should just get even better. But what are we going to be getting from this offense? That's the key thing.
Yeah, no, this is not the time to take a week off in a sense. And I think Washington knows that. They have to have that sense of urgency. I mean, we're coming off a 3-game losing streak in which we finally got off that snap beating the Titans the last game. So going into these next 4 weeks, Washington is actually in a position where they can kind of clinch the wild card spot early. Like, as you said, more, they're closer to 6th than they are 8th. And the Rams play tonight. The Rams are the closest team to them with 7 wins, right behind them at 8th seed. If the Rams lose to the 49ers, that makes Washington, kind of pick up the sense of urgency in the sense that if they win the next 2 or so games, they may clinch in week 16 for a wild card berth. So, no, the team has to have that sense of urgency. I think the bye week, I mean, not to say it came at a perfect time because I hate the late bye weeks, but they're at a point in time where they have the late bye week. They should have the advantage over most teams right now because a lot of teams had their bye weeks much earlier. So Washington should have, a renewed sense of energy. As AJ mentioned, we're getting Marshawn Lattimore coming in, finally playing his first game. And it was refreshing to hear some of the Saints players kind of how they talked about Marshawn when they were asked about him. Like I heard Honey Badger, he was like, oh, man, I saw him practice at full, man. He going to bring it. Charles Jordan for the Saints, the edge rusher over there. He talks, oh, man, he's back, he coming against Cam Jordan. I'm sorry. Who the hell is Charles? Hey, Cam Jordan, man. Anyway, that's his man, Cam Jordan on the defensive side of the football. Cam was talking highly of him. So everyone speaks highly of Marshawn. That kind of tells you what kind of player you're getting coming into this, playoff stretch that we're going to run into, which a lot of fans gave me hell about a couple of weeks ago when I said we're going to get Marshawn back for the playoff stretch. People hit me with the Jim Moore. Speaking of Jim Moore, playoffs. Yes, playoffs. We are holding that spot right now. We control our own destiny. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. Like I said, you're getting those type of guys in, even though you are missing key pieces like in Austin Eckler. I do think you can get by off of that. And, of course, what's the wide receiver that we just lost? Noah Brown with the kidney. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but you bring a KJ Osborne in. Yeah, we get KJ Osborne coming in. I don't know how much he's going to play, this soon coming off of waivers. But, we'll see if he can kind of add to this wide receiver group. But, yeah, no time for resting. This is time for Washington to giddy up and play with a sense of urgency.
Well, let's get into the big news. Since we've, taken our break, Austin Eckler, he's on IR. Noah Brown, he hasn't formally been placed on IR, but Coach Dan Quinn mentioned he's going to be out for an extended period of time. We know that KJ Osborne signed off the Pats practice squad, active roster now. I don't think that he's going to be playing immediately if he he actually spoke today, said that he's doing everything that he can to catch up. So I mean, that's good to know. But I don't know, like, and what I meant to say, like, playing immediately, I don't think he's playing significant time if he does get on the field. So they may kind of give him a couple plays here and there, something that he's learned over this short period of time for the offense. But you lose Eckler, you lose Noah Brown, and on the surface, Noah Brown, the player that he is in himself, that he's like a receiver, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, depending on how your depth chart stacks up. But for Washington, he was wide receiver number 2. Noah Brown, I should have pulled this up while I was looking at it, but Noah Brown, his 56 targets was second on the team as the wideout at the wide receiver position. 21 of his catches that he did have converted for first downs. That's third behind the team. I'm third on the team behind Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz. Another thing that I want to bring light to, because I was just listening to the John Kahn report this week. Coaches had told Kahn that defenses were game planning more for Brown than Terry McLaurin, not because Brown is the better player, but he was more versatile in the offense because you can move him around more. He's a utility guy. He can block, and he can play multiple positions at the wide receiver spot. So, like, because he was capable of doing those things, that's the element that you lose in one player. And again, like I said, he's not like a special player, but they respected his route running, they respected his blocking, and his toughness, obviously. And then Austin Eckler, third in the team in touches behind Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson. He's averaging 6.6 yards a touch, which led the running back position over Brian Robinson, Chris Rodriguez, and Jeremy McNichols. So like there and then you lose him as a kick returner. So like there's other things that and you lose him as a pass blocker in pass protection. So like the elements that you lose with Austin Eckler as well as Noah Brown is a significant hit for this team. And the last thing I'll say, give it to y'all because I know I'm rapping, but the biggest thing, what I think about with this roster, and I'm sure everybody that's listening now can agree or at least understand, when you are having such a successful season in the way that which Washington is having right now, right? The best thing that they got going for them is the good luck with the injury side. Like they have really good luck, and you cannot afford to have some of your top contributors, your playmakers. You cannot afford to have them injured because you lack the depth, and that's kind of the significance or the picture that I'm painting when you talk about losing to Noah. You talk about losing to Austin. What are your thoughts on how they can compensate or even just remain? Because I don't think it's going to be a drastic drop off, but what are your thoughts on how they compensate for those losses?
I really don't know what they're going to do. I wasn't expecting Noah Brown to have a kidney injury. Sounds like he has a lacerated kidney, which he's going to be out for the season pretty much. Not going to come back unless they make maybe the second round of the playoffs. But even with that, Noah Brown wasn't like such a dynamic player or weapon for this team. But like you said, he does bring the versatility of being able to line up at multiple places. Physical guy. He's bigger than Terry McLaurin. So with his absence, I really don't know how you fill that in. So we mentioned the KJ Osborne, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings and New England Patriots. I think he has to be able to come in and play immediately and play some pretty damn good snaps. Because the rest of your wide receiver room are Jags. I know Dyami Brown may get a little bit more opportunities, but he hasn't necessarily shown the ability to beat outside corners. He hasn't shown the ability to truly create separation in intermediate routes or durable, consistent enough hands to be someone you would want to rely on. Now, if you designate Jamison Crowder to return, that's a slot receiver. Luke McCaffrey is a slot receiver. Zacchaeus is primarily a slot receiver. You just got a bunch of slot guys. So it's pretty interesting to see what they're going to do Sunday and the rest of the remainder of these games and even into the playoffs, what they decide to do at that wide receiver position, even missing Austin Eckler is bigger to me than a Noah Brown, because Austin Eckler brought versatility within the play calls. Even if he wasn't touching the ball, he was an amazing pass blocking back. But it also helped Cliff be able to have the defense off key, not knowing what to truly expect, be able to get in the screen game, the counter game, create some type of diversion. I think he's a bigger loss than a Noah Brown. But, missing both of those pieces, truly don't know what you're going to get offensively from Washington on Sunday. But it's good that they're playing the Saints, which is a bad team overall, but they still got some dogs on that defense that still want it and still going after it, even with their poor record. A Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, like Dre touched on. Honey Badger is still out there. They still got some talent on that side of the ball. So, I mean, I truly don't know what we're going to be getting offensively, but I think they're going to struggle in that particular game just due to the fact that their wide receiver room is filled with a bunch of Jags. And even if you don't want to go with that connotation of Jags, it's a bunch of slot guys that's going to be having to play on the outside.
Struggle as in offensively struggle, or struggle as in the passing game? Like
struggle within the passing game. Saints are not the best within the run defense, but you're going to have to see Cliff, if they're productive in their run game, rely on play action more than we probably have ever seen them in a particular game as an offensive coordinator.
For me, I agree that I think Austin Eckler is the bigger loss because, Austin Eckler does a lot in the offense. He was the safety blanket, so to speak, for Jaden Daniels, whether it be if you can hand it off to him on a third down, you can hit him with the screen pass out of the backfield. But we've seen what this team can do without Austin Eckler, because Austin Eckler has missed a few games this season. They just scored 42 points in a game without Austin Eckler against a good Tennessee Titans defense. But yeah, Noah Brown, I mean, for me, it's time to see next man up. That's all it has to be. You have to see what you have next. I mean, yeah, right now, what we do know, yes, we have a bunch of Jags in the wide receiver room. Even with Noah Brown, you can argue that we had Jags still outside of Terry in the wide receiver room. But now is the time to see what you have in a Luke McCaffrey. That's who I'm really looking for to step up, because I kind of expected a little bit more of him throughout the season, but maybe his target share can get up a little bit more, because in a little bit of targets he's had this season, he's kind of produced, in a sense. So, you want to see what he does with extended targets. You want to see what a KJ Osborne can do in this offense. I mean, just to see how you can replace the Noah Brown. Those are the guys you're looking at. You're not going against a world beater secondary to speak against the Saints. Honey Badger, yes, he's still talented, but he's not the Honey Badger we're used to seeing. Their cornerbacks can be had. Alontae Taylor's kind of had a rough season. They target him a lot. For the Saints, nobody in their secondary can kind of scare you with, even with Jag receiver. So you want to see this game if some of those guys can kind of start to separate themselves, like a Luke McCaffrey, as I said, maybe a OZ, maybe he gets a little bit more opportunity, does a little bit more. Dyami Brown. It's now or never for Dyami Brown. I mean, not to say he's having a bad season or anything for Dyami Brown, but, if Dyami Brown's going to be anything in this league, it's time to show it now, because he's going to get extended opportunities. Because, again, we don't know how much time KJ Osborne is going to get, this soon coming off of waivers. He's got to learn the offense. He has to learn what Jaden wants to do. He has to gain a rapport with Jaden. But Dyami Brown has been here. Dyami Brown's been here for years now. So Dyami Brown's probably going to step into that number 2 receiver role. What is he going to do with that now? Like I said, if it's now or never for a guy like Dyami Brown. But again, I want to see what a guy like a Luke McCaffrey can bring to this offense with extended opportunities. So that's who I'm really looking for. Maybe they start to get the tight ends involved a little bit more outside of Zach Ertz. Maybe you get Ben Sinnott going a little bit more in the passing game. Who knows? But now is the time to see. You have 4 games left in this season, possibly a playoff game. Who's going to kind of separate themselves to say, I'm going to be here, beyond this year, and I'm going to prove that.
What question for you guys?
Let's make this your burning question as well. I do it. Like I said, I've been doing a terrible job with these segments, but yeah, let's make this your burning question.
Burning question. what is the expectation of Dyami Brown the next 4 games? If we feel like he's going to be elevated to a number 2, what are your expectations for him as far as like yardage, playmaking ability, and also touchdowns?
Did you say if we expect him to be a number 2? What did you say about the number 2?
Dre said that we expect him to be the number 2, right? So I really don't know who they're gonna put out there outside opposite of Terry. But we feel like it's gonna be Dyami. So what are our expectations during this December run of him with these increased snaps? Because I think it would be his most action that he will have received in probably the last 2 seasons.
Expectations, it's hard for me to put expectations on Dyami. Like, I looked at this whole situation, the receiver spot and the loss of Noah, in a whole different light. Like I said, how can they? It's like one of the more important questions, like how do they compensate for the losses, right? And I wrote an article on Hog Saving today, and I actually rephrased the question is like, how can the offense improve? But that's specifically talking about coming out of the bye week. And I think they can use Dyami in particular ways, right? Like he has 20 catches on the season, if I'm not mistaken. And 14.
That's a lot of catches.
It's a lot of catches for him, for sure. 14 of his 20 have come on screens and flat routes. Right? So that's where he's getting the ball at the line of scrimmage. He's had 3 explosive targets, right? We're talking about downfield, 20-plus yards. He only connected on one of those, but one of those was the 41-yard touchdown against the Cleveland Browns. But that came back in week 5. So I think he's had like 26 targets, and just 3 of those were explosive targets. I think the missing piece for Dyami in this offense is the element of going downfield more. Cliff Kingsbury even spoke to this in his presser today. Not about Dyami verbatim, but he mentioned like, how do you compensate for the loss of Eckler and Noah? One of the things he mentioned is run the football more. Like I could run the football more. He also proposed the question of being more explosive and taking more downfield shots. And while people focus on running the football more, I'm like, there is a clear and obvious other way that you can use people to their talents. And Dyami has the speed to go downfield and stretch the field. And I think even in some instances, in some games where I noticed Dyami's a backside read, and he's on the boundary or he's on the field side as the receiver. And he has a step, he has leverage on the receiver. On the DB, but he's just not getting the target. And I'm not saying that that's consistently the case. What I'm saying is those happen occasionally. So like, what happens if he's more of a focal point in the progression? Or what happens if meaning Cliff Kingsbury saying, I want to take this shot to Dyami. Let's draw up a play in which he's more, he's like a first or second read, depending on how the safety's playing, XYZ, something to that nature. So when I talk about Dyami, I don't think about expectations for him. I think about how can Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden like make this offense better, and what role does Dyami play in that? How can they get him beyond the first level in terms of majority of his touches?
And when we talk about expectations, especially when you talk about losing a guy like a Noah Brown, and now Dyami Brown has to step up. So as Maul alluded to, and what I've also noticed as well with Dyami is that most of the time when he gets targets, they are those bubble screens or their screen passes where he has to kind of make a play. And Dyami's done pretty well with that. I mean, they're limited, but he's done pretty well in that role. But now his role has to expand. And what we've known of Dyami since he's came into the league is he's a vertical threat. Like, he's the guy, he can go down the field and he can win. But you don't get those targets often in games. But that's kind of how he was used in the past. So now that he's going to be getting that extended action with Noah Brown out, maybe you do have to change up the plan. So I kind of like that Cliff answered that way, and Cliff, didn't come out and say, yeah, we're going to kind of use Dyami in the Noah Brown role. No, you're going to kind of use Dyami in a different way than you've been using Dyami already. You're going to get him more on those vertical routes. Maybe Jaden hits him on a couple of those. You're going to use them outside of just those screen passes. So for me, with the production level, what I expect out of a Dyami, I mean, I guess for a good thing, similar to what Noah Brown has done in a sense in which Noah Brown was able to draw some of those DPIs downfield. You know, he may not have caught a lot of those downfield passes, but he drew a lot of those DPIs. Maybe Dyami gets some of those looks that he gets, those over the top looks. Maybe he's not, you know, breaking them or catching them, but he's able to draw some PIs or, you know, something that makes you say Dyami had a positive impact in this game. Because there's been too many games in Dyami's career where we walk away where we don't even notice that Dyami played in the game. So, you know, now this is a time where we want to notice Dyami making those positive impact plays. And this is a time where these games matter. Like, you're talking about every game from now on, you know, for the rest of the season has playoff implications. And Dyami has a chance to make an impact in these games that has those implications that you're kind of remembering Dyami, and you feel like Dyami is a valuable piece to this team. So, yeah, I want to see some of those downfield shots. You know, yeah, I mean, of course, you may, you know, think about running the ball more, although I don't think that's going to be Cliff's game plan. I think Cliff's going to run his offense however he wants to run his offense. And Dyami has a chance to have a role in that offense in the passing game. So I want to see some of those downfield shots, not just the screen passes, maybe even some stuff that, you know, the intermediate stuff with Dyami. We don't really know Dyami much for the intermediate stuff, you know, the 10 to 15 yard receptions down the field. So maybe that's some of the things we can see now with Dyami in the game with extended targets. I think Jaden has a little bit of a rapport with him already. So maybe we will see a little bit something different from Dyami in that aspect.
Hey, JT, how much you got on that?
I was waiting. I was like, that man. First off,
JT like him.
Started out. JT started out saying Dyami finna hoop.
Yep,
that's the first thing he said, bro.
Hey, but we can't mention Kaz Allen to JT. He don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I must say I ain't even break him up. I thought about breaking them up in the article, but I was like, you know what, Jay Tizzy may read this, bro, and have some email for me later. Oh, AJ, did you have a answer to your question before we get to our?
No, we good. No, we good.
Well, let's get the underdog fantasy. Let's get the underdog fantasy, and let me tell you about champions, bro. Underdog is the best place to play champions, man. So sign up now and use promo code TRIBEDIVE on your first deposit to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. This season, Underdog is going to be running a special promo or bonus almost every single day, like Profit Boost, where you can pump up your winners and just a tap when you apply the boost to eligible entries, discounts where you can get adjusted projections on certain player stats to give you a shot at the big dub, and free picks. Basically, a sure thing. You hit 0.5 or select that 0.5 on a certain player's stats, such as Jaden Daniels rushing yards get a 0.5. Saying hit the higher on that. Plus, all new users get a free pick. Look, man, I told y'all about that air raid thing, bro. I love the air raid thing. And when I come in onto the show, sometimes I don't have my pick set up just yet, but I got my pick set up right now, right? I did the air raid, bro. It's 20% profit boost on your wide receivers when you pick them. Again, you got to make sure that you get them on the air raid, and it's basically selecting over 50 yards on these guys. I did a 6-pick air raid joint, right? So I'm starting tonight. George Kittle, 49.5 receiving yards, got the over. So by the time this come out, or if you read this on or listen to this on Friday or Saturday, you won't know if I hit. 49.5 receiving yards on George Kittle, Terry McLaurin, Mark Andrews against the New York Giants, Jackson Smith and Jigba against the Green Bay Packers, Jalen Waddle, the Penguin, against the Houston Texans, and DeAndre Hopkins against the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, 6 picks, man. I'm ready to get busy, man. Those are my plays for the air raid special on Underdog Fantasy. I love them things. Again, you swipe left if you don't think they're gonna hit that 50, and then you swipe right if you think they're gonna hit that 50. Download the app today. Use promo code TRIBEDIVE to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. I repeat, promo code TRIBEDIVE to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. You must be 18 or older to play. 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. If you're in Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. If you're in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. fellas, the last thing about this offense, bro, that I want to like at least bring awareness to. You mentioned the players, but the defense sucks. They give up one of the most in terms of passing yards, 20 plus passing yards. They gave up 46 on the season. That is tied for third worst or fourth worst in the NFL. 20 plus rushing yards, 20 plus rushes. They are Washington's right up there with them. but they're fourth. The Saints are giving up 13, 20 plus yard rushes. And then they also are the league worst in terms of rushing averages allowed. They are at 5.3 yards a rush, giving up a total of 1,700 yards on the season, but 5.3 yards a rush. The only good thing about this defense right now is actually, if you think about it, it's like the Washington Commanders with Montez and Chase Young, bro. Like literally, they get a lot of pressures. They don't get a lot of sacks.
No sacks.
They don't get a lot of sacks. They are a top 10 team in terms of pressures. They are a top 10 team in terms of pressure rate, but they are a bottom half of the league team in terms of sacks, as well as their sack rate is bottom half of the league as well. They aren't getting home to the quarterback, but they make things a little murky in the pocket. That's the least that they do in terms of that pass rush. But yeah, man, their secondary is inconsistent. Same thing as their run game. And I think that's one of the more important things, especially going into this game, as an opponent on the road. Run the ball. That's one of the biggest things. Run the ball, establish control at the line of scrimmage, and go from there. Don't get yourself in no third and longs. Don't get yourself in some second and longs. You got to make sure you stay positive on those first downs and second downs. And I think Washington will be in good shape on the side of the ball. Defensively is where we was going to next. Marshawn Lattimore, 2 straight days of practicing. I think it's pretty dry or cut and clear. He's playing. We don't have to hear the official word today, but he's playing. I think Washington's biggest op on this side of the ball, because now I did see somebody say that I'm a double check after him. Jake Haener is the starting quarterback. I'm about to double check. Who is that? Shout out to Ayoshi. I appreciate you for saying that. Hey, bro, Monty is hilarious, bro. Shut up, dog.
No, I was laughing like shit when he said that.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro. All right, so where's I at?
What's up with Spencer Rattler? I mean, they start. I heard that this Jake Haener cat was going to start probably yesterday, but I'm like, damn, are they, not giving Spencer Rattler that chance? Like, what's going on over there in New Orleans?
Look, man, I'm minding my business, bro. I have no idea. It is an interesting question, but I have no idea, man. Where's I at? Damn, I just lost my train.
You were on Jake Haener. You were saying.
All right, cool. All right, yeah. So I'm about to say they don't really pose any threats. Like Jake Haener starting, and y'all know how I feel about Derek Carr. I don't give a damn about no Derek Carr. Like he can start. If we lose to Derek Carr, bro, I'm quitting the podcast.
No playoffs.
Yeah. Like I'll be damned if we lose to a Derek Carr. But he ain't playing, so I ain't got to worry about that. I would have said that if he was playing anyway. We ain't losing no Derek Carr, bro. F that bum. For real. But yeah, that's where we at. I think Alvin Kamara is kind of the biggest thing. You can't let him get going. But I think for Washington's sake and in the sake of how they've been able to start some games, Tennessee, Tony Pollard started off pretty strong. Obviously, they got smoked, but he started off pretty strong. Rico Dowdle started off pretty strong. And I think those are things to consider when you talk about Alvin Kamara, who's a 10 times better running back than these guys. Can't allow him to get going on the ground. Can't allow him to influence the game in terms of however many touches he gets in that first quarter alone, because he is the thing that makes them shake offensively, especially with Taysom Hill out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the Saints offensively, I think Alvin has packed it up, ready to hit Cabo. of course.
I forgot you know a little something about Alvin, huh?
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, there's nothing to play for. But I mean, you definitely have to treat him as a threat. He's the main person on that offense. He's essentially Christian McCaffrey to Clint Kubiak's offense. But Alvin's one of the better backs in the entire NFL, just with a bad team. Wish he didn't sign the extension with New Orleans Saints, but that's a whole nother subject. At the end of the day, he's one of the premier backs in this league. When you think of a Derrick Henry, a Saquon Barkley, a Christian McCaffrey, and so on, he's up there in those ranks. I know nothing really about this quarterback that's supposed to be playing. So I don't know what you're going to be getting from him, which makes it a little bit scary because you just never know. I think with the Saints, offensively, when Derek Carr was playing in the last several weeks, after they signed MVS, they've been going to him. He's been their deep ball target. He probably has like 2 or 3 touchdowns of 40-plus yards. I think that's somebody you got to pay attention to, especially if Alvin can get started in the run game. But they also have a running back in Miller. What's Miller's first name?
Kendra.
Yeah, Kendra. Is it Kendra or Keandre?
But
Something
does
like
he
that.
play? Because I know Jamal Williams gets a lot of those backup snaps for New Orleans.
Keandre been getting some reps. I don't know what Jamal Williams been doing. But they got
Jamal got 10 games played, but he got 35 carries, 129 yards. He ain't doing shit for him.
Yeah, they got some guys, man. I think overall, man, if you ever want to say a trap game, this is one of those. New Orleans is not an easy place to travel to and play. They'll definitely,
and to your point, 3-1 in their last 4. 3-1 in their last 4 games.
Yeah, Washington definitely will have a lot of fans in attendance. They have strong ties, and a lot of fans plan on traveling. You know, it's just one of those games where I think coming off the bye, you hope that they're fully prepared. As someone said in this chat, you know, can't wait to see how Marshawn Lattimore looks in his defense. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to. If I had to rank it, number one, it would be how Marshawn Lattimore gels with the rest of this DB room, but also how Joe Witt Jr. utilizes everything else around Marshawn Lattimore. Is he going to blitz more with Jeremy Chin? Is he going to let him freelance a bit more? Are they going to just blitz in general more? You know, when it comes to now having that lockdown corner on the opposite side, who's going to be playing opposite of Marshawn Lattimore on the outside? Who's sliding into the slot? Yeah, that's my number one thing. And then number two is just how are they going to fare in the passing game with the absence of a Noah Brown? Yes, he could be classified as a Jag, but that Jag has been getting a lot of damn targets. And as we stated, you know, Terry isn't really getting that active within like moving around within the offense. But overall, I think Washington's key thing, they got to stop the run. If they stop the run, they could go after Heiner, Rattler, whoever they want to put up at quarterback as much as they want, possibly on Sunday, especially when you got a dog out there. Marshawn's a dog. He's going to be geeked to go against his former teammates. Olave's still injured, right?
Yeah, he's not playing. Yeah, he ain't playing.
Yeah, so, I mean, what are we really talking about? They ain't got no Taysom Hill. They only got Alvin. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, Cabo. Yeah, so it's like that's where the trap could be, because if you're a player, you're thinking, so man, they ain't got shit. You feel me? Like, this should be a cakewalk.
Well, for us, we should be saying that. I was going to ask you a point though. With MVS, MVS is averaging 24 yards a catch. And he has 12 catches, 288 yards with the Saints. And it's crazy because he was 4.
He only been playing with them for like 3-4 weeks, like 1 month, because Washington tried to sign him before he started.
And mind you, that's with Derek Carr. And let me get started on this.
It has been practice. It has been with Derek Carr, yes.
Yes. And look, the Saints offense is Alvin Kamara. I mean, it's Alvin Kamara is their leading receiver and their leading rusher. He's the entire offense. And if AJ said Alvin Kamara is in combo mode, then that means the Saints are in combo mode. But the Washington can't take that lightly. Washington has to come out here in kill mode. This is a team that you have to come out here and you have to dominate this team. I mean, the good thing is with a Marshawn Lattimore, being his first game, he knows a lot of this Saints team. So he's not going to be in coast mode. He's going to be out there and I'm going to prove it mode, but the Saints offense is all Alvin Kamara. I think their wide receiver room at this moment may be even worse than Washington's wide receiver room. So, then you talk about the quarterback position. Derek Carr's not playing right. Jake Haener, quarterback from Fresno State. That's all I know about Jake Haener. I haven't seen him play in the NFL. I haven't even seen him play in college because I don't watch Fresno State play college football. But with that said, this is not a team. For me, I don't even view this as a trap game. I view this as a game that Washington just has to go in and they have to do what they're supposed to do against this team. Washington has generally been good against these type of teams this season. The only team they haven't been successful against like this season is that Dallas Cowboys team. And my hope and my thought is that you've learned from that Dallas game that you can't take any team lightly, because I do feel like they took that Dallas team lightly. And I don't think they're going to take that Dallas team lightly the next time they play them. And I don't think they're going to take the Saints team lightly this time because of that Dallas game. I think that Dallas game was the wake-up call. So, no, on offense, Alvin Kamara is the only thing you have to worry about. If you stop Alvin Kamara, you probably have nothing to worry about on that side of the football. But when you switch to the other side of the football for the Saints, their offense their defense versus our offense. Again, I think this is a game where the offense can thrive in, because I don't think this Saints defense is kind of built right now to kind of stop teams. They're kind of built for shootouts, but they don't have an offense to play shootout type of games. If you can go in there against this Saints defense, because I think the interior line is lacking for the Saints. I don't think they don't have anybody that's scary on the interior line. So to Maul's point, I think you can run the ball against the Saints. I think Brian Robinson can have good success in this game. I think Chris Rodriguez can come in for spells and have success in this game. I think Terry can eat in this game, because I don't see any corner on the outside that's going to lock Terry up in this game. This is a game where you want to see a Dyami Brown, or you want to see Luke McCaffrey, or whoever else is kind of lined up at that wide receiver spot to kind of exploit some of those corners over there for New Orleans, because no one in that secondary should really scare you for New Orleans. So no, I think this is a game if Washington comes out focused, they should take care of business. Like I said, this is one of those type of games where Washington has come out and take care, that they've been generally successful in. So yeah, I would be very disappointed if Washington comes out here and lays an egg, because this New Orleans team, AJ said Kamara's in Cancun mode. I think the whole New Orleans team is kind of in Cancun mode. They won like 3 of their last 4 games, but that was with Derek Carr playing. And then also they didn't play against the best of opponents in those games. I mean, they just beat the Giants in one of those games.
They beat the Giants, they beat the Browns, they beat the Falcons. The Browns, they got that dub against Pittsburgh, bro.
Yes, and that's a division. And Browns play all of the divisional opponents tough. Outside of their division, I don't see them playing too many teams tough.
That Broncos game was close until that boy Jameis.
And I talk about that.
Yeah, right. Because I think you was on the same side as me.
Yeah, I love Jameis.
Yeah. I'll say that though. Mainly because realistically speaking, I don't think a team is going to pack it up, especially a team that's still in the division race. Like that AFC South is bad record-wise. Now, granted, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a good team. They've been dealing with injuries, the last couple of months. But realistically, like the Saints are looking at this and saying we can still make the playoffs. So we're still winning the division, and then eventually in turn make the playoffs. So that's kind of where I'm like, all right, they got a chance. They're fighting for something. But that's as far as it goes. In my opinion, I don't know like how much fight they have left, but I do think that they are very much aware of like what the stakes are in this game, especially with the Packers and the Buccaneers. Matter of fact, looming right after we play them.
Question for y'all: do you expect this? Do you expect this team offensively and defensively, and I'm referring to Washington, coming off the bye to start like the game off first quarter sluggish, or do you think they'll be firing?
I don't have no reason to think that they'll be sluggish. I'm trying to think like what are the gaps here? I think like that, the way that they went into the bye week was encouraging. Like they played like they really wanted to end their first half of the season. I'm saying first half as in like till they reach their bye week. Reach their first half of the season like strong and make sure that they close it out on a good note. I think injuries was their biggest hindrance, and nagging injuries were their biggest hindrance over their last 4 or 5 stretches of games. So I can't think of a reason why they'll come out sluggish. If the Saints are prepared, that's one thing. Sluggish will indicate something like the Dallas Cowboys, where they just keep fucking up, right? And if the Saints are coming out prepared as well, like it'll be a conversation on Sunday when we do our post game that the Saints came out prepared and they was ready. But in terms of sluggish, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I don't see like a significant amount of mistakes that keeps the Washington Commanders back from being able to execute. That's kind of where my head is at.
I would be very disappointed if they came out sluggish, and I would be disappointed in the coaching staff for one. And I would also start to question some of the players' desires out there if they come out sluggish after a bye week, especially after you listen to what Jaden Daniels in his press conference yesterday, when they asked Jaden Daniels, was it kind of hard to get back into football mode after a bye week? Jaden Daniels said, I'm always in football mode. And that's what you want to hear out of your players. You would like to think that all of those players kind of share that sentiment that Jaden Daniels has, that they're always in football mode, which means that if you just had a bye week, you should be ready to play when you come out. Like your first game, you should be so amped up, like you're ready to go out there and you're ready to hunt, you're ready to kill when you get out there for your first time again in 2 weeks. So you hope that the whole team kind of takes on that mentality. So that's what I'm expecting. I hear it from the leader of the team, which is Jaden Daniels at the moment, that he's always in football mode. And I kind of expect that to resonate down to the rest of the football team, that they're always in football mode, which means they are ready to get out there and they're ready to hunt. So I would be very disappointed in everyone from the coaching staff to the players if they come out sluggish after the bye week.
It does say a lot. This is gonna be their first time under Dan Quinn, like in terms of like preparedness and what it look and what it like impressions of what they can be coming out of a bye week. Those things aren't hard to forget year on in or year to year, especially when you start to calculate what their records are. I wonder what his record is currently, just as a head coach, like what his record is after the bye week. But to that point, like you don't forget those games because you get that week off and you want to see them bounce back or come out strong, depending on what the state of the team is. So it's interesting. What do you think, AJ? And then we can just get to our predictions after.
I really don't know what to expect at all. So I think Sunday is going to be an intriguing game. Like I said, the number one reason why I think it's intriguing is how does Joe Witt Jr. Utilize the addition of having a lockdown corner. The only thing I would say aside from the game, Jay Tyler, you talking all this Dyami Brown stuff like you his dad or something. I would love to invite you formally. I know I didn't talk to my co-host about it. This is like on the spot. I would love for you to come on with us post-game Sunday. You've made some strong proclamations in this chat. 2 plus 20-yard receptions for Dyami Brown. He's about to hoop. Yeah,
AJ don't want to let that one go.
AJ don't like that.
please come on with us on Sunday. That is an open invitation. Post game.
Jay Tizzy is hilarious, bro.
You've been here for a long time. We appreciate your support. But when you start saying stuff like that, you definitely need to come on post game with us for a little bit on Sunday. And we will have the stats prepared.
Well, hey, look, let me ask y'all this. Since we can talk about Marshawn Lattimore so much today, who sees the bench in this game at the cornerback position? Is it Noah I or is it Ben St. Juice?
I don't think neither one of them gets benched.
Man, Jay Tyler, I know you ain't calling Ben when you over here supporting Dyami Brown. I know ain't no way in hell you doing that. But yes, Ben will be on the outside and Mikey will be in the slot, or they might switch.
Wait,
off.
I'm about to say, do you mean bench as in like not play, or you just meant like
No, I mean who's the 3 cornerbacks out there in base sets and primary and third downs? Who's the 3 cornerbacks out there? Like who's the odd man out?
I think it's Ben, I think it's Mike, and I think it's Marshawn. That's gonna be your 3 that's out there. I do want to take note though. Mike Davis has been seeing some snaps the last few weeks. So like they've been, I don't know if that's, I don't think like somebody mentioned.
Who was he in place of? Who was he on the field in place of?
Yeah, I'm about to say somebody was mentioning that it was because it started in the Philly game, right? And somebody was mentioning it was because Ben was dealing with some injury, but I don't think it was because he was dealing with some injury, bro. I think Mike is in the game because they're starting to. I think they can trust him a little bit more. Like I think that's why they're using him, and in whatever situations that they feel comfortable. Like I would have to really study like when he's in, and like the situations, but he's in the game, bro, and he's getting a healthy snap count for him. So AJ throwing me, but yeah, I don't know. But to that point though, and where I'm bringing him up, Mike is in. He's getting some snaps. He's seeing some snaps. Mike Davis, not Mike Samuels. He's seeing some snaps, but I don't know how they mesh all of that. Marshawn is a guy I think they're gonna give him, if he's healthy, he's gonna get a full healthy snap count. I don't think they're gonna blend him in. Like once he's good to go, he's good to go. I think it just comes down to those other formations, those other packages. Because there'll probably be some times. I think Noah I's gonna be on the outside looking in, but I also think like the way that he's played, why would you take him out? Like why would you keep him completely out the game? That's where I'm getting at. So I don't know, bro. Maybe Mike is the one who actually is benched, and maybe they just find other packages for these other guys. Mike Davis. I know it's 2 Mikes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't see.
Hey, bro.
You talking about Jay Tyler?
Yeah, bro.
Hey, man. There's no way in the world you can defend Brown and then try to come after Ben. Like, and then Forbes interceptions. Like, Forbes got more interceptions than Cam Curl, but y'all wanted to pay him. And if I'm not mistaken, Jay Tyler, you was behind that campaign. Cam Curl. But either way, let me get back to regular programming. With the regular programming, you drafted Mikey Sainristil to put him at the slot. Now is your opportunity to see what he could do there, primarily with an outside corner and a Marshawn Lattimore, paired with a Ben St. Juste. Let's just see this thing play out. Like we said, they're not going to be going against guys like a Chris Olave. I mean, MVS is a veteran wide receiver in the NFL, but Saints don't really have no productivity at that side. But yeah, I think that the beautiful thing about Joe Witt Jr., and I love how he coaches, and I hope that he gets opportunities to interview as a head coach. I think he's a head coach already, made for it. He's not uncomfortable with making adjustments on the fly or playing different players. He's not going to just force himself to play certain guys just because. Yeah, man. I don't know what is up with Jay Tyler tonight, but please stop asking me when you're over here. You said this nigga Dr. Brown is gonna have a career day. He's gonna have 240 plus wide receiver receptions. No, 220 plus. Come on, bro.
Hey, bro. I wasn't even about to laugh, but when I seen, I saw Dre
on the show knows 25 by guy, but goddamn, I ain't even say buddy name. Like, we just talking about who gonna be on the outside.
Hey, bro, I saw Dre, bro. I was like, oh, it's over, bro.
We gonna ship Jay Tyler to Canada.
No, AJ, you started this time. I don't know about the Miami Brown thing. You asked for it with that one.
Nah, it's like I'm cool. I'm cool with it, whatever, right? But Jay Tyler literally started off this show at 7:01 p.m. time, 52 seconds going on about Dyami Brown. He's going to hoop. There's no way you can talk to me about 25 after that. Like, that's why I said.
No,
and
y'all
he
having
said
a
he-
mid off right now, AJ. Y'all are having a
He
mid
on
off.
Sunday.
Bro, let's get, bro. Hey, let's get.
One catch for 8 yards. I hope he's ready to defend his son, Dami.
Hey, bro, let's get, bro. Let's get to our predictions, bro. Let's get to our predictions and our MVP, bro.
Okay, nigga
Hey,
talk
bro.
about 20 plus steps from Dyami Brown. Man, go put $100 on that. You will be a millionaire on Sunday. FanDuel, Underdog Sports, whatever promo code you want to use.
Underdog fancy. Hey, I'm gonna start it off, bro. Predictions, bro. MVP. Woo. All right. I'm gonna go.
Well, we know Jay Tyler MVP, Dyami Brown.
Hey, bro, I'm going Commanders getting the dub, bro. They are 7.5-point road favorites, which is actually a little crazy to me. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, the intuition in me is saying it's going to be a closer game than that. I'm gonna say 27-21. Commanders win on the road. I'm gonna say 27-21. I'm tripping. Jake Hayner out there, not that bum ass Derek Carr. I'm gonna probably say like 24-16. Commanders get the dub on the road. Clearly they cover the spread by the number. But I'm gonna say the MVP is actually Terry McLaurin, bro. I think Terry McLaurin probably gonna go crazy in the value.
Yeah, I'm going
man.
big. Oh, go ahead, AJ.
No, you good.
All right, I'm going big. I went big in the Titans game. I'm going big again because I think this is a team that Washington should.
What was the
dominate.
Titans game prediction?
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I picked well over 30. Y'all kind of said, whoa, when I did it too, because I picked a blowout. And we ended up blowing them out. But I did the same thing in the Saints game. I just think that a focused Washington team against a team that's kind of packing it in. I think the Saints are packing it in on both sides of the football, honestly. Washington comes in. I think they win. I'm going to go. I don't want to put 40 because they got 40 last time. I'm going to say 38-20 in this game. They win 38-20, and the MVP is going to be Brian Robinson because I do think you can run on the Saints defense, and I do think Cliff's going to lean in a bit on the run game this week with Brian Robinson. So MVP Brian Robinson, score Commanders 38, Saints 20.
Yeah, it's going to be great Sunday to have Commanders football back. You know, we got Friday with football. We got college playoffs. We got Heisman Trophy. Saturday, college football. Is there NFL games on Saturday? I'm trying to remember.
No,
or is it not this week? Next week.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. Watch Commanders football again. With this particular game, I have Washington winning 34-13. I think that Washington will get on track with their offense. Brian Robinson will be productive. But I expect, an explosion from the wide receiver game. I think you'll get to see a little bit of baby Jamar Chase, Dyami Brown go for he'll have one catch for 8 yards. And, Washington went big. I think that Dyami Brown will be the MVP of this particular game. One reception for 8 yards. I think it's going to be amazing. I think that it will calm the noise around wide receiver first round next year. I think Dyami Brown will get a long-term.
All right, man, stop with this.
And, MVP game. He's going to show up. They're going to be like, who? Like, look what he's doing with Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to have the most phenomenal game of his career. It's going to almost be like he's playing backyard football against the Saints.
Bruh.
But, they got fast turf out there at their stadium.
Contract
in that dome. You feel me? So, let me stop playing around. MVP of the game going to be Jaden Daniels. Like I've said on here, anytime Washington wins or we predict them to win, the main focus behind this game is going to be Jaden Daniels. He's going to be that person that helps them get to the next level and pushes them to the playoffs. I'm so happy for us to not have to be talking about a damn Sam Howell, talking about other things we get to focus on what really matters is winning games. And Jaden Daniels has put this team in a perfect position to continue to be one of the top tier teams in the NFC. And yeah, we'll see what happens Sunday. Looking forward to being back here 4:10 p.m. Eastern time and going over their stat sheet. So yeah.
Hey, bro. All right, bro. Hey, bro. This is so hilarious because both y'all are dead ass serious, bro. And I know Jay Tizzy, bro, love this nigga some De'Ami Brown, bro. So this is about to be so funny. I can't wait till 4:15 p.m., bro. That's gonna wrap it up for us on this Trap or Dive game preview, bro. Appreciate everybody who tapped in live again. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already.
I think De'Ami Brown just caught a touchdown, actually.
Playing Madden.
Hey, Commanders morning show
Man,
tomorrow.
can't even catch a touchdown with that motherfucker in Madden, bro. Like, come on, son.
Commanders morning show tomorrow, 6 a.m., man, for the early birds, man, the morning trappers, bro. We out here, dog. Y'all take it easy, all that good stuff. We out here. Peace.
Chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball,
man.
We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.